You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. With 1 week left before Cambodians head to the polls on July 23rd, Prime Minister Hun Sen continues to call for all eligible voters to fulfill their civic duty on Sunday. In a telegram message from July 16th, the Prime Minister said that this year's election campaign season has been a positive experience and he encouraged people to vote. He wrote, quote, "It has been 16 days since the start of the election campaign, and all the participating political parties have been campaigning actively and happily, as if the campaign season is a joyful festival." He then spoke on behalf of the King, the National Election Committee, and the Office of Prime Minister, urging all registered voters to head to the polls this Sunday, July 23rd. This is the 7th National Assembly election to take place since Cambodia implemented its first free election in 1993. 18 parties are on the ballot this year. However, the NEC has faced backlash for denying the major opposition Candlelight Party from participating this year, citing insufficient paperwork. The Prime Minister has called on the government to provide buses to those who need to return to their hometown to vote, leaving little excuse for any registered voter not to participate in this year's election. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The Candlelight Party, founded in association with exiled opposition leader Sam Rainsy, is mired in controversy once more after 2 members were arrested this week in connection to reports of people inciting the public to invalidate their ballots by incorrectly marking them. Those arrested have confessed that they were following the orders of Sam Rainsy, despite repeated claims from the Candlelight Party that it is no longer associated with Rainsy. Yesterday, Candlelight Party executive Lee Ri and acting chairman of the Phnom Penh Candlelight Party, Bun Ket, went to court to face accusations that they tried to convince people to invalidate their votes on July 23rd, in protest of the National Election Committee's refusal to allow the Candlelight Party to run in this election. Following the arrests, the Candlelight Party issued a letter stating that the arrests were only done to threaten the party's activities. The letter said, quote, "The Candlelight Party calls on the authorities to release Lee Ri and Bun Ket so that they can reunite with their families and continue their political activities with the Candlelight Party," end quote. Bun Ket issued a video confession that same day, which was made public on Prime Minister Hun Sen's Telegram channel. In the video, he says his actions were meant to incite people to destroy their ballots on the instructions of Sam Rainsy.
បញ្ជាពីទឹកដិតសំរងស៊ីឲ្យខ្ញុំផ្សព្វផ្សាយដល់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋឲ្យចូលរួមបោះឆ្នោតសម្រាប់នៅថ្ងៃទី23ខែកក្កដាឆ្នាំ2023នេះឲ្យគូសស្លឹកឆ្នោតខ្វែងចោលដែលផ្ទុយពីឆន្ទៈរបស់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋអាស្រ័យដោយបានរៀបរាប់នៅខាងលើនេះសូមសម្ដេចអត់ឱនទោសដល់រូបខ្ញុំបាទដែលបាន
The PM commented on his telegram that despite the Candlelight Party's insistence that it respects state procedures, its members are committing crimes in the name of Sam Rainsy. He asked, quote, "Is the Candlelight Party going to take responsibility for this?" End quote. The newly amended election law that went into effect a few weeks ago stipulates that those who incite voters or destroy or damage their ballots will be fined 5 to 20 million real, or about $1,200 to $4,800, by the National Election Committee before any criminal charges are considered. The law also states that political parties that commit the same offense may be disqualified from participating in the election for at least 5 years. NEC spokesman Heng Putia told EAC News that so far the NEC has received 11 complaints regarding incitement to destroy ballots. He added that the process of resolving complaints is currently underway at the provincial and capital NEC committees. He noted that if found guilty, the crime carries a fine of 5 to 20 million real, according to the law, and that this does not include any penalties of other crimes which may have been committed. When asked about the strength of the case against the arrested Candlelight Party members, he confirmed that it is not yet possible to determine the outcome, as it's pending further investigation. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Cambodia's 3 international airports received a total of 2.48 million passengers in the first half of 2023, a 270% increase when compared to the same time last year. The numbers are consistent with Cambodia's overall increase in tourism revenue reported from popular sites like the Angkor Temple Complex and Preah Vihear Temple. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
According to a report of the State Secretariat of Civil Aviation, passengers flew in nearly 25,000 flights from January to June. Cambodia recorded around 2.57 million international visitors in the first 6 months of this year, a sharp increase of just over 500,000 who visited during the same period last year, the Tourism Ministry reported last week. In March, EAC News spoke to the Secretary of State of Civil Aviation, Sin Vuta, said that the largest number of flights was between Cambodia and Thailand, totaling 890 flights. Flights to and from China come in second, with 410 flights in the first 3 months of 2023. Top Subhek, Secretary of State and spokesperson of the Ministry of Tourism, said that the government's efforts to regenerate tourism numbers is responsible for the increase, especially by the re-establishing flight routes and opening new ones. The reconnection of air flights and the increase of routes, particularly direct flights to Cambodia, have made it easier for passengers to travel to Cambodia, he stressed. While passengers' numbers are up, air freight numbers have decreased by 17% when compared to the first 6 months of 2022. The three airports handle some 24,000 tonnage of air freight between January and June. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The General Secretariat of the Council for the Action of Persons with Disabilities organized a national information technology competition for young people with disabilities on Saturday. The Council will select 4 winners to compete in the Global IT Challenge, or GITC, held in the United Arab Emirates and online from October 24th through 29th. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
The IT exam was open to young people with disabilities from Lavala Primary School. The National Institute of Special Education, Paul Ansare Defant, exceeded online Cambodia and community youth who were able to take the test in person and online. Candidates who passed the exam on Saturday will go to the complete in the semi-finals of the international competition on July 25th to the 26th. The 4 top scorers will be chosen to represent Cambodia in person at the competition in Abu Dhabi, while those who lower scores will be able to participate online competition. The GITC for youth with disabilities is meant to strengthen the ICT capacity of the young people with disabilities, lay the foundation for social progress, and raise awareness for digital accessibility for young people with disabilities. By 2024, it will be developed into more sustainable competition, strengthening the credibility of the internationally renowned competition and in the independence of the participating countries. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Hun Sen made an effort to clarify his message, linking the setbacks of Thai politician Pita Limjaroenrat to the failure of his own political opponents. His tweet from last night appears to have caused a stir among some Thai nationals, but the Prime Minister insists he is ready to respect their choice and work with whichever leader they choose. In a Twitter post this morning, the Prime Minister said that he has no intent of interfering in Thailand's internal affairs, but that Cambodian groups who use Pita's name for political gain saw their wishes dissolve like, quote, salt in water when the Thai MP did not receive enough parliamentary votes to become Prime Minister yesterday. Pita is the leader of the progressive Move Forward Party that won the most votes in Thailand's general election on May 14th. Yesterday, he failed to win enough votes in the parliamentary confirmation. However, he says he will not surrender, and his party is already strategizing for the next vote, which is expected to be held next week. In a since-deleted tweet from July 13th, Prime Minister Hun Sen, the unnamed Cambodian, quote, extremist groups were using Pita's political gains as their own. He claimed to have heard in a foreign radio broadcast that his political opponents had plans to enter Cambodia through Thailand once Pita assumed his role as prime minister. The post received a lot of attention from Thai nationals, to which the PM responded, quote, Thai people commented in Thai language, which I could not understand, end quote. He emphasized that he respects the decisions of the Thai people and will work with whichever leader they appoint. However, he warned his opponents not to use political careers of others to further their agenda, which, quote, destroys their own nation, end quote. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Hun Sen announced the establishment of an interministerial commission meant to accelerate the construction of an expressway from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap. Once completed, the expressway will be the third in Cambodia after the Phnom Penh-Sihanoukville Expressway, which opened in late 2022, and the Phnom Penh-Bavet Expressway, which is expected to be opened by 2027. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
The Prime Minister issued a statement on Tuesday detailing the functions of an interministerial commission to manage investments in build, operate, transfer incentives for the proposed Phnom Penh to Siem Reap Expressway under the supervision of China Road Bridge Corporation. The commission will be responsible for reviewing and advising on procedures, legal framework, and investment visions for the infrastructure project. With a dedicated group on the case, the government hopes to accelerate the development of the expressway. The commission is to be chaired by the Minister of Public Works and Transport, Sun Chantol. He said that Cambodia's third expressway is estimated to cost $2.5 billion, with each kilometre of the road totalling $10 million. The ministry expects to begin construction on the 250-kilometre expressway in 2024. The construction will involve two stages, first from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, and then from Siem Reap to Poi Phet onto Thai border. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Cambodia is sending over 150 athletes to train in China for the upcoming Asian Games that start in September. Cambodian athletics in all sports have received a big boost following their excellent performances at this year's SEA Games. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
According to Secretary General of the National Olympic Committee, Vut Chamran, the NOCC, with it sending 150 to 160 Cambodian delegates, coaches and athletes to participate in the 19th Asian Games from September 23rd to the 8th of October. The NOC is joining with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports and the National Sports Training Centre to intensify training for Cambodian athletes following the success of this year's SEA Games, which was hosted by Cambodia. Cambodia attended the Games in 2018, hosted by Indonesia, during which the Cambodian athletes brought home 2 gold and 1 silver medal. The women's national hockey team will be making its debut this year after scoring their first international victory over Singapore last year. In this year's SEA Games, they brought home a bronze medal for Cambodia. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Revenue reports continue to come in from the royal government for the first half of 2023. The General Department of Taxation, or GDT, reported this week that they have already collected more than half the domestic tax revenue needed to reach its annual goal. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
According to the GDT, 58% of yearly plan was generated in tax revenue, totaling nearly $2.1 billion. The press release on July 13th reported in June alone, $245 million was generated through domestic taxes, $39 million of which come from e-commerce transactions. According to the GDT Director General Kong Vinh Bol, the numbers are on track for the department to meet this year's annual goal stated in the Law and Financial Management 2023, which aims to bring in nearly $3.6 billion in tax revenue this year. Cambodia has 2 tax collection bodies. The GDT focuses on interior taxes such as income tax, salary tax, value-added tax, and property tax. The General Department of Customs of Exercise, which collects taxes on goods entering and leaving the country. The GDCE saw a 5% decline in the first quarter revenue this year at just over $564 million, back in April, most of which come from imported taxes on vehicles and machinery. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Daily Roundup premieres every night at 8 p.m. on the EAC News channel. But the news day starts a full 12 hours earlier. EAC News' passionate team of reporters, writers, cameramen, and video editors are hard at work around the clock, bringing you world-class reports on everything from local and regional news to the latest international stories and the most dramatic footage from around the world. It takes meetings, research, phone calls, and emails. And that's before we even get out of the newsroom and into the field, shooting interviews and those pieces to camera. Not to mention into makeup and onto the set. The Daily Roundup, Cambodia's most comprehensive English language news show, premiering every night on the EAC News channel. Join us and subscribe. We wouldn't want you to miss a thing. The Daily Roundup with me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and only on the EAC News channel. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
តើលោកអ្នកចិត្តរៀបអាពាហ៍ពិពាហ៍មែនទេហើយពិបាករកក្រុមហ៊ុនថតវីដេអូផ្សាយផ្ទាល់ដែលមានគុណភាពមែនទេអស់កង្វល់រ៉ាទីកាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនទទួលស្គាល់លំដាប់អន្តរជាតិលើសេវាកម្មថតផ្សាយផ្ទាល់គ្រប់កម្មវិធីកម្រិត 4K ដំបូងបង្អស់នៅកម្ពុជារ៉ាទីកាប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ទំនើបម៉ាកល្បីៗធានាគុណភាពការផលិតតាមបច្ចេកវិទ្យាទាន់សម័យរ៉ាទីកានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអស្ចារ្យលោកអ្នកនឹងបានឃើញរាល់សកម្មភាពក្នុងពិធីទៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ទំហំធំកម្រិត 4K និងការបញ្ចាំងលើផ្ទាំងក្រណាត់សព្រមទាំង LED ដែលមានរូបភាពច្បាស់ត្រជាក់ភ្នែកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ012 823 848 017 838 889និង016 823 848 រ៉ាទីកាទំនុកចិត្តការទទួលខុសត្រូវនិងគុណភាពខ្ពស់រ៉ាទីកា Entertainment ក្រុមតន្ត្រីអាជីពកំសាន្តបែបស្រាលពីរោះមិនថ្លង់ភ្ញៀវរំភើបចិត្តពិធីរឹតតែអស្ចារ្យ Relax រ៉ាទីកា Entertainment ញ៉ាំងឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអធិកអធមរ៉ាទីកា Entertainment ក្រុមតន្ត្រីដ៏ល្អសម្រាប់ក្រុមគ្រួសារលោកអ្នកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះសម្រាប់កម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ017 838 889 012 823 848 និង016 823 848
EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear.